Seated.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, on the radio, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, on podcasts everywhere, and on talklawradio.com. I'm always talking about the law, so if there's something you're confused about or some law that's frustrating for your business, go to talklawradio.com and click the button about ideas for the show, or if you want to be on the show to talk about it yourself, send me an email at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com. Talking with Marty Dusek today with U.S. Depositions and Litigation Services. Marty, if there's lawyers out there that need help, how should they contact you?
Oh, it's a great question. Cell phone. No, U.S.
How about email?
Yeah, but I mean, I really do believe I give my cell phone to everyone. I want your team to contact me. I want to be your main point of contact. I want you to feel like I'm there whenever you need me. You know. Well,
if Friday you give out your cell phone number, somebody might order pizza and have it delivered to your office.
No, but you know, generally the cell phone for sure. But usdepo.com. You can click and email us and message from there. You can email me at marty@usdepo.com. There's multiple ways to reach us without a doubt.
Okay, great. So we were talking about your background and everything.
Todd, can I ask you a question first? Why are you wearing a cowboy hat?
It's rodeo.
And cowboy boots.
Rodeo season. I have a straw cowboy hat, but I was polling my inner circle about, what are the rules for cowboy hats? Because I'm really just a small town city boy from New Mexico.
I forgot for a minute because that hat, you're really pulling it off.
Yeah, I'm all hat, no cattle. But on the way here, I was trying to think of a friend that does have a cow. I'm going to ask him, hey, can I buy just one of your cows so that I can get rid of that reputation of all hat, no cattle? Because if I have a cow, then I'm justified in wearing
I'm sure
a hat.
Chris has fully approved this plan.
Well, I'm not going to bring it to the house. I'm just going to put my brand on it and say that it's mine.
I can't wait to see what Mark titles that thumbnail for that short.
Yeah, that would be
Todd
cool.
buys a cow.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for humoring me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
anyway, we got to define some terms here for those of you who don't know what depositions and records and what's the third thing that I
Process server?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
People really don't know what that is. They think if I'm sued or if I want to file a lawsuit against somebody, all I have to do is go downtown and tell the judge my side of the story.
I think it's very fitting that you keep forgetting it because it is very, under wraps. It's not the razzle-dazzle of a legal case, but it's crucial. It's very...
Go ahead, Marty. Tell us what
without a doubt. Well,
are.
and they, they need to appear. They need to be, so they become served. You've got tons of records that are flowing through these law firms that they need to analyze and review, summarize, so they can prepare for trial. And then you go to depositions that they're going to prepare for as well. They need court reporters. They need videographers. And we have really worked hard at making this a full package operation. We really want you from file to trial. Like, we want to be there for you the whole time. And earlier I was, joking about the audience giving a cell phone, but seriously, if there's not a single customer that we don't have that their whole team doesn't have my cell phone, and they have the green light to call me at any time they want, and I really mean that. And that's kind of what probably separates us away from everybody, is that our customer service is impeccable. It's a culture that we've instilled and built and cultivated, and it's going to go with us for as long as we're around. No matter what scalability or size we have, everyone is going to have that hands-on experience. You're going to have a person to call. You're going to feel like we care about your case just as much as you do.
Yeah.
More like the way we used to do things here, where you had a personal relationship with the people you were working with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a kind of been a lost art lately.
Definitely. Yeah.
And so I want people, I don't want you to call and you're going to get a receptionist and you're going to get on hold and you're going to dial an extension. No, like that's not what we're about. We want you to get an immediate answer. One ring, we're there for you. We'll take care of it. Have a good day.
And litigation is already so stressful.
It is.
The participants, the attorneys involved,
Right.
one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, we really
to work
wanna,
with a good person.
Absolutely. We're going to try to make that as stress-free and, expedite the process as best as we can.
What a beautiful mission you have. That's very cool.
Yeah, that's terrific. So one thing that goes on with recording depositions and are transcripts. You have to make a transcript of the whole conversation, right?
Yes.
And so do you think that artificial intelligence will ever be able to do that?
Certainly. It's happening now. I would always encourage a court reporter to be at every deposition. I think I always would recommend a court reporter, but there are definitely programs right now, and I would consider them more tools than primary, tactics or strategies or services. A tool to kind of help, right? And you could play it right here, and it could real time record our transcript. Mm-hmm. It can summarize it. It'll pick up Shannon's voice. It'll, identify this is Todd speaking. It'll say it's Marty. It's fascinating what it can do. I mean, it's going to, like I said, it'll be a fun tool for the industry.
But there are some legal regulations about transcribing and court reporting. You have to have a certification and things, right?
Well, yeah. So there's an element of non-stenographic transcripts that you can approach. And that would fall under that. But again, it's not certified by court reporter. So it's still would be admissible in court. But again, I would always suggest court reporter.
But then you have an opportunity to dispute, the opposing party's transcript.
100%. Yeah, it leaves that opening and possibility. And I'm not sure when that'll surface or get to a point where that's gotten credibility. I think that's probably far away.
Well, let me tell you a story. I had this case.
You missed the other day. He told us a joke.
Yeah, well, this is just a short story. I was representing somebody who had taken an audio recording with his cell phone at over a conversation at a restaurant. And so the opposing party, they wanted a transcript of this recording, because if we were going to use it in trial, they wanted to know what it was all about. And so we had somebody produce that transcript of the audio recording, and for some reason they disputed it. And so I don't really remember what that was all about, but the reason I bring it up is because you have to have a reliable process. You have to have a certified court reporter, so that people can't poke holes in the evidence that you're trying to present.
Yeah, without a doubt, absolutely. It opens that door to getting slammed for sure.
Yeah.
I confess I wasn't really aware of how many certifications court reporters had to complete, and also the process servers. In preparation for the show, I reviewed, the agencies that certify them, and it's very similar to what attorneys have to go through. It's highly regulated. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that. I've always just, gotten things served. I didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes, how extensive it was.
Right. And one of the other things that you do is service of process, mm-hmm. service of citation. That's where somebody delivers a copy of the paper lawsuit to the people that are being sued, and then they swear under oath that they actually delivered it to that person. Well, why do you have to be so careful with that? What are some of the problems that could come up that you're in charge of making sure it doesn't happen?
Yeah, they need to be properly served, no question. And you need to document that, the times you've attempted, right? Because there's going to be multiple times that, they're there or it doesn't work, or, they may be trying to avoid you. So it's certainly a challenge, but it needs to be done correctly. And we had to go get our certifications, our license to be able to do it. And it's a challenging course. And again, the object is to have make them aware of what's going on and make sure they appear on their date.
Well, that's where some stress and frustration comes in, is when somebody is evading service. And so I've had to call the company that we've used and say, hey, when are you going to get this guy served? And then they maybe ask, well, can you get me some telephone numbers? Can you get me some points of contact so I can try and find them? You ever run into that?
Yeah, well, what we also provide is kind of part of the pre-trial stuff, skip tracing. And so we can kind of run background, we can figure out information, we can find addresses, emails, cell phones. We will run, all the traps we can to, get the job done. And our team's amazing. They make sure that, they, jump through every hurdle and hoop they can.
You ever deliver flowers with the citation?
It's funny. I was like it always reminds me of talking about trying to think the movie, is it with Seth Rogen, is it Knocked Up, where he's constantly dressing up in different costumes, because he's, serving everybody. And no, we don't add flowers to it. That's for sure. We just,
Well, you might try that. It's kind of fun.
What if you don't have good service?
Right. So that's what the lawyer's going to worry about is, was it done in the right way?
We won't get repeat business.
Oh, no, I mean in a case, like in a $1 million judgment, if they try to attack it, what if there's not good service? What could happen?
If they didn't really get served, then they weren't invited into the lawsuit.
Right. So the whole thing
has to start over.
Right.
And if the statute of limitations is run, then that's going to be a real problem.
So
you got to make
pays to work with good people.
Yeah, make sure it's done right the first time.
Yeah, that's correct. No, time. We want to save you time. We don't want you to have to keep repeating. We know there's, statute of limitations, coming, deadlines. It's the forefront of our thought process every day. We want it done correctly, timely, make you guys happy.
Yeah, there's been a time when I was preparing for a contested hearing and I wanted to get documents. The opposing party was objecting to my discovery requests, and so I had told my staff, we need to get these documents from the source. Banks, financial institutions, medical providers, and in my mind, that was a rush job. But, by the time the words leave my mouth and then somebody hears it, well, then they have things to do to carry out my objectives. And then they contact our third parties. And then, it sits on somebody's desk over there.
Right.
And then by the time they start to fulfill the order, I'm already in the hearing with no documents.
Right.
So I'm
getting
sure
yelled at by a judge.
Yeah, that's the
when you should have called
case.
Marty in the first place, like I told you.
We'd be here. We'll be there for you.
That's the part I want to hear about more too, is the document retrieval. I don't quite have a grasp on that. What do you offer?
It's tricky, frankly, because you're getting the orders from the law firm and we're sending out. And then you're having to follow up with these medical providers, Northeast Baptist, Texas Med Clinic, I'm just rattling off names. But and you've got to make sure the affidavit is completed. You got to make sure everything's finalized.
That's make or break. I mean, that's win or lose in the case.
Make sure all the records are there that they say they are, make sure page counts add up. So it's a lot of organization and, uploading and keeping track of it. We've got to stay organized, no question.
Awesome. I'm going to tell another story after the break about the time when I was doing records review outside of the monkey cage. Stay tuned.
No jokes today.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Each week, attorney Todd Marquardt talks about the law. His mission with the Talk Law radio show and podcast is to help you discover your legal issue blind spots. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then came the 10 Commandments. Now we have federal, state, and municipal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws. Laws that might impact you without you knowing it. Listen to the show and drop a line on Facebook or email host@talklawradio.com and let the host know what you think of the show, the topics you want to hear, and whether you want to be a guest.